So, we are in Uddhava Gita of Bhagavatam, which is in the 11th skanda, or it is also called Mukti skanda, which is about 1000 verses. And we are going through some important verses of that skanda. It is also called canto. And the first day, we saw the story behind the whole scene where the Brahmin's curse, as it is called, is going to be on effect onto the people of Dwaraka. And Krishna asked all people of Dwaraka, all people from Yadu dynasty, on whom the curse is, to go off to this holy place called Prabhasa, in order that they go there, do all punya karmas, such as upasana, charity, etc., for the next 7 days, by which time the pralaya is expected to happen. That part of Dwaraka is going to be immersed in water. And Krishna asked all those people to go to Prabhasa, and that time our Uddhavaji comes there and expresses his grief, etc., and asks him for his advice as to how to live in this world in his absence. And Bhagavan Krishna tells him, renounce everything and fix your mind on the Lord, unto me, realize and live happily, and asked him to go to Badari Ashrama. And that is Uddhava Gita. So, as he is talking, When Bhagavan Krishna tells him, you renounce everything, and then he says, absorb your mind into me, realize the Brahman, Paramatma in you, understand that you and Paramatma is one. Uddhava says, oh Bhagavan, in such a short time you told so many, the whole of Vedanta to me, and people like us who are so immersed in Laukika life cannot understand so quickly. Can you please repeat what you said in detail, in simple way, so that simple people like us can also understand? So now he started with Uddhava Gita, and we went through who is an Avadhuta, etc. And Avadhuta tells the king of Yadu, who went and asked him, who is your guru? And how did you learn? How did you become so blissful? Joy and happiness is just overflowing from you. Who is your guru? Then Avadhuta said, I have many gurus. Sandhi Gurava Bahava. I have many gurus. I have 24 gurus. And he goes through different, all those gurus were from the nature itself. From whatever he saw in nature, he learned from each of them. Again teaching us how much he was one with the nature, one with the universe. There was no difference for him between him and Ishvara, between him and an animal, between him and another human being. So from wherever there was an opportunity, without any inhibition or anything, he learned. And he talked about the 24 teachers. And then, yesterday, Uddhava asked about what is really this liberation? What is goal of human life? Then Bhagavan Krishna also told him limitations of karma and explained in detail about how knowledge and bhakti are like two sides of a coin for one to achieve mukti. So, thereafter that, it is just a revision of what Uddhavaji asked Bhagavan Krishna. For me, it is extremely difficult to go beyond all these gunas. You are asking me to renounce all this, but I am living in your own Maya, where I am living in the delusion of I and mine. So please explain to me further. Uddhava said, Guneshu vattamanopi dehajeshvana pavrataha gunairne badhyate dehi badhyate va katham vibho. We are all struggling in this world, being pulled from all sides, as we are all immersed in the vishayas of all kinds of attributes, and I don't know, I don't understand how these Mukta Purushas have achieved their state of Gunatita. We went through the meaning of Gunatita also in detail. How have they become Gunatitas? How have they gone beyond the Gunas, beyond the clutches of their own Gunas? How do these Mukta Purushas live? How do they walk around? How are they, what is their relationship with the objects of the world? Then Krishna continues. He said, this also we briefly touched yesterday, Uddhava, talk of bondage and liberation is respect to the body alone, which is a product of the Gunas and not of Atman. Then actually Uddhava says, please tell us how we can go beyond these Gunas. We went through till here yesterday. We also talked about how each individual has, our Andakarana has got two sides. As though there are two birds sitting, two birds who had been friends from time immemorial, where one of the birds is beyond all that is perceived as though ever in bliss, Shuddha, Mukti and Buddha. How is that? Whereas the other bird is very busy in eating, in enjoying the fruits of actions of the life. So there are two personalities as if in a person. Bhagavan says that is every individual. Each individual has the reflection of Bhagavan or Ishvara in him or her, and the other part of the Jiva is that which gets immersed in enjoyment of the fruits of actions in the world. And therefore, whenever this Jiva goes through some troubles, he looks up, he feels the touch of that bliss that the other bird is as though it is just a kind of a comparison. And again forgets his true nature, forgets from where he came, and gets involved in the worldly objects. And then Krishna continues, knowing this, what do you have to do? Evam gurupasana kaikaha bhaktya vidya. Evam gurupasanaika bhaktya vidya kutarena shitena dhiraha vivrajya jivashayam apramattaha sambhadya chatmana madhatya jastram. You remember the story of the arrow maker that Avadhuta told to the Yadu king? He said, a seeker should be as single-pointedly focused as this arrow maker. He was sitting and making arrows in his shop. Along the road, the king and his retinue were going. He did not even know. Your mind should be that focused. Remember that? So, similarly, there is a mistake, there is a typo here. It is Bhagavan Uvacha, not Uddhava Uvacha in the English side. Okay? Please correct. It is Bhagavan who is saying that. Bhagavan says, go to a guru, having understood what you have to do, having understood that achieving jnanam, getting jnanam, or when you have got sufficient vairagyam from all these worldly enjoyments, that's what he had been talking about till now. Having got that now, one should go to a guru with humility, stay with him. Dhiraha is one, the student with all the sadhana chadushtaya, that means a fit student with all qualifications for acquiring the knowledge. That's the meaning of dhira. Such a dhiraha should go to a guru and renouncing all desires that are selfish oriented, go with him, serve him, and under him learn. And may you cut all the bondages of ignorance with the sword of knowledge. Having learned, having got the knowledge, then also you can renounce everything at that time, live happily in the world, shining forth, not expressing, removing the darkness and bringing the light of knowledge to people around you. That's the meaning of this sloka. So go to your guru, having understood what is the goal of our life, and that having understood that the priority of our life is knowledge, go to your guru with the right attitude of humility, serve him with the sword of knowledge, cut asunder all the bondages and live freely amongst the world of objects. Okay. Now, continuing, as I was telling yesterday, today we would start with another important section of Uddhava Gita, that is Hamsa Gita. And how the name Hamsa Gita came, etc., Bhagavan himself would be telling later on. But just for our understanding, Hamsa here represents Bhagavan Krishna himself. Okay. What he had taught the Sanagadi brothers. They had asked a question to Brahmaji. That time it seems Brahmaji, in his work he was very busy. He said, I'm very busy now, don't disturb me. And then it seems he just sat and meditated and asked for Mahavishnu to come. And Mahavishnu is none other than Bhagavan Krishna himself. So Bhagavan Krishna says, later on we will see, that I had taught all these things to the Sanagadi brothers. And Uddhava would look at him and ask, what did you say? He said, yeah. And he would tell the story. Okay. So that is a little story behind it. But otherwise we'll quickly go through this part. And this Hamsa Gita also has got two parts. I am hoping to cover the first part today, and we'll cover the next part tomorrow. Okay? And that would be the grand finale, the subtlest teaching of Uddhava Gita. Now, coming to this, we had been talking till now, Bhagavan Krishna had been talking about how we should go beyond the gunas. We have to be gunatitas. Now, the question that Uddhava had, remember that how do I overcome these gunas? So Bhagavan Krishna starts with what he had taught. He is narrating it to what he has taught Sanagadi brothers. Sattvam rajastamayiti guna buddhena chatmanaha sattvena anyatamo hanyat sattvam sattvena chaivahi. He says, having told all gunas belong to the Jiva and not to Paramatma. Now, Jiva here means the mind and intellect. So Bhagavan says mind, and when we say mind and intellect also, it includes the whole of Antakarana. Antakarana means mind, intellect, chitta and ahankara. Okay? So all these gunas belong to the Antakarana. And what are the gunas? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. What is Sattva? Sattva is that tendency of a person which is conducive to spiritual life. Rajas is that tendency of a person which pushes a person to rajasic life. And so also Sattva is the third quality of the mind which takes a person which is more of laziness, I don't know kind of a feeling and so on. So now, who is, in general, every person, everybody has sattvic quality, rajasic quality and tamasic quality in different proportions. So in general, Bhagavan Krishna is saying, who is a sattvic person, who is a rajasic person, who is a tamasic person. In keeping in mind, nobody is totally sattvic, nobody is totally rajasic in general. Nobody is totally tamasic. Okay? So now, sattvic person has, a purely sattvic person has the tendencies or bent of mind or inclination of going inward. He is not at all tempted by the Vishayas outside world. He lives in the world, but mind is always questioning as to, his mind is sufficiently evolved as to, he asks himself or herself, where am I in this big prapancha? Why have I come here? And there has to be a divine being behind all this, and he has a natural tendency to understand, and he has a very strong desire for knowledge and understanding God, which we call as mumukshutva, which we have seen before. So such a person is called a sattvic person. A rajasic person is one who wants to have worldly fame, he wants to possess, he wants possessions, he wants position, he wants to be recognized. His mind always goes towards what is that I can get today. He believes that materialism only can make him happy. Such a person is called rajasic person. And by definition, tamasic person is one who is not interested in any of this. He just wants to in Malayalam they say, Undal oranganam, orangiyal unnanam. I am hungry, I want to eat. Oh my God, my stomach is full, I want to sleep. Then you wake up. After Sunday, very soon you are hungry, eat and sleep. So such a person who is not really, has no much motivation to do anything. He is a purely tamasic person. And an example of a sattvic person is given here. Einstein. He was Albert Einstein. We have heard a lot about him. How much of what creative mind he had. And he himself, the words that have come out of himself, there are very many quotes that is as though from Bhagavad Gita. Such a great sattvic person. And you also might have heard about Thomas Alva Edison. It seems he had built his factory, okay, and his research had been going very well. And one fine day, he heard there was fire in his factory. He came, he saw huge fire on his factory. And not seeing him around, his wife came out. He told, honey, see how beautiful it looks. Have you ever seen such a big fire? Look at the way it is. His wife was thinking, oh my God, he must have gone crazy. He said, what are you talking? We have to again rebuild. He said, yeah, we'll rebuild. But now enjoy this. So such are the minds of great people who there is no regret. They live for the present. They are so extremely dharmic. And being dharmic, there is no fear and no unnecessary imaginations and so on and so forth. We have seen so many other examples also in the past, right? So beautiful is mind of a sattvic person. So now going to what Krishna is saying. Since predominantly all of us are rajasic, okay, and many are there who are tamasic, and there is a lot of sattvic qualities also in us. Now, in order to reach the state of gunatita, there are two stages. One is you become sattvic. Second stage is get knowledge, get established in knowledge, right? And at that stage, you will naturally go beyond all dualities of good or bad. Okay? I hope you are all with me. And so, he also says, become sattvic, how? By leading a proper life. Now, our Vedas have got two sections, majorly two sections. One is Karma Kanda, the other one is Jnana Kanda. All rituals, all karmas that are advised to us are all for purifying our mind. Okay? So all those rituals and Nitya and Naimitya karmas that we have talked about in the last few days, they are all part of that karma kanda, which would enable us, if properly followed, enable us to become sattvic. And the second stage is where, by proper knowledge and awareness, the sattva guna would be able to burn even itself Sattva-guna also, we'll see why later. And you become beyond Sattva-guna also. Okay? And continuing going ahead, he said, Gunas do not belong to Atma but to our mind. Having said the previous qualities of the mind, what is the proof? Because all the gunas are expressions of our mind, right? Mind is of our medium of interaction. Gunas are expressions of our mind, which is medium of our interaction. So, all gunas really belong to the mind. I am not satisfied. But, think a little more. In sleep, does our mind work? In deep sleep, does our mind work? No, we don't know. Isn't it? Even if there is thunder, there is earthquake, some people don't even realize there is. You are in deep sleep. Other people might know when we are in deep sleep, when we are in sound sleep, other people know, but we don't know. Right? Only after we had a very good sleep, we tell ourselves, I had a nice sleep. We know. I was there before I went to sleep. Now also I am here after I finished my sleep. So I was there. But was the mind there? Mind was not there. When in my dream state, was my mind there? Partially. And I know I saw the dream too. So I was there that time too. Correct? And in wakeful state, even though some of us are not aware, never mind that, but generally mind is there. Right? Mind is fully interacting. And because of this, if mind stops functioning, there is no interaction. Just like in deep sleep. So where do all these gunas really stay? In our mind only. Isn't it? So bottom line is, in order to control our mind from not going here and there, the bottom line is, gunas are really characteristics of mind. Mind is holding on to the gunas. Okay? Going ahead. I know there are no stories, no jokes today. It's a little bit serious because I want to finish the first half. But please let me know if what I am saying, if you are not with me. Now, we also said, we have to make our mind sattvic. How do we make it sattvic? By weakening the rajasic and tamasic qualities so that sattvic qualities would overpower tamas and rajas. And then we also said, and then we will also have to give up sattva. How? Like a pole vaulter. He uses a pole to go up, swing up with the spring action, and when he reaches there, if he holds on to the pole, he will be nowhere, he will only fall down. He has to give up the pole and let go of himself. Only then he can do what he wants to do. Correct? In a similar way, Sattva guna should be made sufficiently strong to enable the mind to go beyond itself. Okay? And now, having said that, how do we differentiate these gunas? We get confused in our day-to-day life. How many times we think, while we are kind of driving, am I really We cannot be every moment checking, isn't it? But in our reflection, when we do our day end, when we go back to the day, how do we analyze us to how to differentiate the different gunas is what is told here. Sattva guna. When our sattva guna is predominant in us, mind is able to discern what is right for that person. There is better discrimination of what is right and wrong. All of us go through that at various times of the day. Correct? So when a person is a purely sattvic person, we can easily find out how very quickly he can discern what is right and what is wrong. Correct? And Rajoguna is a person who at the drop of a hat can get very angry, krodha. And because of anger, raga and dvesha, right? Aversion and attachment and detachment. Such people, when they are, not such people, anybody for example, and people who are very rajasic, when they get excited, they lose touch with the normal norms of life. Right? And when we lose touch of the normal norms of life, that is when, due to raga and dvesha, we cross the limits of dharmic life. And every little adharmic life would lead us to further adharmic activities. So rajasic quality is very, very dangerous. That is what is propelling one person to go from one extreme to the other extreme. And tamoguna. Tamoguna, the main quality of tamas is to cover the truth. Wrong understanding, seeing one for an entirely different thing. It covers the truth. Since it covers the truth, he of course does not know what is right from wrong. And it will be impossible for the other people also to know what at all that person is doing, that and why. Such people are totally unreasonable. Neither he can understand why he or she does that, nor the other person can understand. So these are certain extreme characteristics of sattvic people, rajasic people and tamasic people. Okay? And having understood that, again the question is, why should I become sattvic? Yes, I want to be free. Why should I become sattvic? Remember yesterday we said, being free is not free to do what we want, not to talk what we want, but to be free from what we want, free from our mind, free from our negative innate tendencies. Yesterday we had talked about that. Okay. So, why do I become sattvic? Because next question is, there is again spelling mistake there. There is a typo. Because we cannot directly go to liberation state. Okay? We said before, the first stage is to become sattvic and then become gunatita. Unless we overcome sattvic bondage, you cannot go beyond all three gunas. So we first become sattvic. The typo there, I'm sorry. And how do we do that? By following sattvic way of life, one becomes sattvic. And when one becomes sattvic, he develops Ishvara Bhakti. This also we had gone through the last few days. I'm just revising that so that we are convinced about why we should do what we should do, what Bhagavan says in the coming slides. By becoming sattvic, one develops Ishvara Bhakti. By Ishvara Bhakti, one gets the Tivra Mumukshutva or Parama Bhakti, Param Bhakti. Remember, only that allows us to be established in the knowledge that we accrue. And therefore, what should be our spiritual sadhana? A lot of discipline. It requires a lot of discipline. And Guruji says there, you will find certain disciplines when somebody tells you, get up at 5 o'clock, do your daily routine, do your meditation, spend half an hour in your this, and then do your exercise, all these things. Suddenly getting into a strong discipline, people don't like it. Guruji says, when your doctor says, put braces, then your teeth will be beautiful and nice. You don't mind going through any pain. Think like that. So we are going to, it is for our own goodness, and therefore go through the discipline. And then he warns us against how, as spiritual seekers, as they progress in their spirituality, that half knowledge makes them a little arrogant. And that arrogance or that misconception of their own self brings them down like that ball when a ball is suddenly dropped from 3, with lot of struggle, the child takes the ball to the 5th step and from there it falls down. How much of effort the child has to take the ball again up. Like that, we do lot of sadhanas. Be careful. It's very easy to fall down. Be careful not to fall down. And like he says, like some people, once in a while, Guruji says, once in a while people do a charity. In India and all, we'll see even tube lights, donated by so and so, in temples and all, if you have seen. And people blow their trumpet when he blows his trumpet when he does charity once in a while. But with careful sadhana, one should practice reach like Karna. Karna is a great example. For Karna, charity was a second nature to him. Okay? For him, he would not even think. They say, your left hand should not know what your right hand is doing. It was like that for Karna. So Guruji says, that should be, the qualities that we want to develop should be your second nature. At that stage, you will not even know you are that. Like Mahapurushas, when you see how compassionate, how simple they are, right? So that is how you should develop sattvic qualities and be careful and alert not to fall in between. And Bhagavan says, it is possible for one to systematically become sattvic from whatever stage you are, whether you are rajasic, predominantly rajasic, or only 50% rajasic, or 75% rajasic, and maybe 50% sattvic, or 50% tamasic, 75% tamasic. Bhagavan gives and simple methods to monitor yourself to become sadhak. Okay? And he gives 10 factors. That is this sloka. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Agamo Bhakpraja Desha Kala Karma Cha Janma Cha Dhyanam Mandrodha Samskara Dasaite Guna Hetavaha. 10 factors. Those 10 factors that you have to be careful about in your everyday life are these. 1. The scriptures. Water here means what you drink, what you eat. Your company, place you live, the time of the day, what you do, how you work in this world, and what you are trained to, what you are initiated into, what you meditate upon, what is that you are always predominantly thinking of. What is your mantra? Is your mantra, I want, I want, I want, yesterday as we said, or is it anything else? What are the type of purificatory rites you do, etc. And we will go one by one very quickly. What are the scriptures that you read? The one who reads only sattvic scriptures such as Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, Gita, and what to talk about Uddhava Gita. Okay? When you read books which takes you higher than wherever we are. What was the example we saw yesterday? Can you remember? What goes up? Fire. Isn't it? Uddhava gave us the example. Whatever you read, it doesn't have to be Upanishad, does not have to be Rig Veda or such books. No. Bhagavatam, Ramayana, they are all such nice books to read. Not necessarily only scriptures. Whatever book which teaches you something, which takes you the quality of your thinking higher, is what it means. Okay? And this is a must. Then, we have to know what we should not do, right? What would make one rajasic? Actually, a person who is very sattvic, it is impossible if you give one Ramayana book to him to read. They cannot. You have to bring them to a rajasic level. Okay? So, that's why all three he has given. Now, what does a rajasic person would read? He would read the Kammakanda portion. If I do what, I will get what. If I do what, I will get a son. If I do what, my stars will become, all the bad effects of my stars will go away. Right? Things like that. And they will read books of economics, Forbes magazine, Business Week, etc. And what would be tamasic? Reading about black magic. Huh? No, I don't want to say that. I'll get into trouble. About human animal sacrifices, murder themes, bomb making, and so on. And water or food, and both, water and food. What kind of food would make you more sattvic? Pure water, fresh juice, wholesome food such as fruits and pulses, and some of our friends here would say, take only vegan food. All those. And what makes you rajasic? Spicy, burnt food, overcooked food, canned food, soft drinks, coffee, tea, etc. So wherever possible, if our priority is Atma Sakshatkaram, then we have to stick to Sattvic. We have to avoid Rajasic. And what makes Tamasic food? Stale, tasteless food. Garlic, lot of garlic is bad. Meat, alcoholic drinks, etc. It seems even smelling alcohol is a sin according to our scriptures. Next, praja or company. Virada's man there, company. What kind of friends should we keep? Those people who have noble values, who have, in whose presence we get inspired. You know, there are people, when we are with them, we feel tired, we feel our energy, they suck our energy. They really suck our energy. I don't know whether you have experienced. I have experienced. Right? And like Gurudev said, no, we told that before also, some people when they come in, we are happy. And some other people when they go off, we are happy. Like that. So be in good company. And here is a saying, a man is known by the company he keeps. Oh. Okay, never mind. Then, what is a Rajasic company? Okay, by mistake it is there. What is a Rajasic company? Is glamorous, materialistic, power-hungry people, attention-hungry people, emotionally and intellectually draining people. People for their selfish motives, they spend time. We have to be aware. Such people drain your energy. And tamasic company would be wicked, lethargic, perverted people who prey easily on bad practices such as alcohol, gambling, etc. Such companies we should avoid. Then, time. Which time of the day you do best? You do what? Like early morning time is very, very precious. Get up as early in the morning as possible. That's the best time for spiritual practices, for study, for reflecting, or even for learning mantras, slokas, etc. And it seems after sunrise till evening, the time is for Rajasic activities. It is mind is more agitated than in the compared to morning time. And Tamasic is late night activities, and in fact in Tamasic time is any time acts of indolent system. It is. You are making that time tamasic. Even if it is early morning, if your action is tamasic, you are making that time also tamasic. It is that time. Then, sattvic. Actions. Your daily karma is doing your duties, nitya and naimittika duties. Yes, he must be such a sattvic person. Thank you for noticing that. Then Rajasic is Kamya Dharma and Paradharma. Kamya Dharma is selfish actions through selfish desires, desire-prompted activities for fruits of action. Such activities. Any action expecting results is that. And paradharma, doing others' work. It may be none of your business to be concerned about certain things or certain other people's work, being interested in that. And tamasic is nishiddha karma, any activity that is forbidden, like stealing, etc. Then comes desham or place. The place where we live is very important. If you are living in a community which is more sattvic than rajasic, that is conducive for our spiritual growth, isn't it? Right? Like locations such as mountainous area, when you go, you feel very peaceful. You have very reflective mind that time, isn't it? Your mind will go to sattvic thoughts. Whereas, look at bungee jumper, such activities and amusement parks, okay, shopping malls, etc. prompt you, induce you to do rajasic activities which are desire prompted. And then tamasic locations are gambling dens, night clubs, etc., where places where bad things happened. I read this story about Lakshman. When Lakshmanji and Sri Rama and Sita Devi, when they were in the forest, one time Lakshmanji was standing and doing something there. Then he felt, oh, why am I doing this here? I can as well be happily in the palace with my wife. His thoughts went like that. Then he felt very guilty. He went to Sri Rama and asked him, why did my thoughts go like that? Sri Ramji said, where you are standing, that is where the demons, Ghara and what's the name of the other demon? Ghara and? Yeah. He were there. That is where they did their meditation. And seems when we go, see, their meditation means the type of meditation they do is different. We'll come to that. So he was saying that Guruji was saying that's why we love to go to holy places. Certain places where a holy man has come, we like to go there. We feel good when you go there. We go to samadhi places. We go to where great sages have lived. Even if they are not there, that place itself gives us good vibration. So, the place. Then, birth here does not just mean its literal meaning, the initiation. For example, it seems any child when born is only 10% human, 10% is animalistic. So the second birth of a child is supposed to be when the child is initiated to divine activities. Okay? For example, the thread ceremony for boys. You say that he had his second life, the second birth. Dvija, twice born. Like that. So spiritual activities like Sandhya Vandanam, where the child is initiated into sattvic life. Then Rajasic, initiation into siddhis, like reading others' minds. When somebody asked Gurudev, can you read others' minds? He said, why will I do that? Reading others' minds is like peeping and looking into your own wastebasket. I don't want to do that. Anyway, so teaching, learning to read others' minds and studying books of we are talking about initiation for siddhis like levitating, etc. And you know how people have siddhis like creating things from nothing, making things from nothing. All those things are rajasic initiation for those results to come. Then tamasic, getting initiated into black magic, etc., going to burial ground and learning those slokas, etc. Are there in our scriptures itself. Then, dhyana. What is that we dwell upon constantly? For a sattvic life, you should be reflecting upon the slokas that you have learned. What did we hear in the talk today? What did we read? When I read today, what did I read? Things like that. What great people have talked to us. Great people's lives, how they lived. Those should be the things that we should be dwelling upon. What is Rajasic? What would be, how do you think the stock price of that company has gone up or gone down? Business, money market, stock market, etc. Many people are feeling, I understand that. Then, tamasic, destructive thoughts of anger, thoughts of revenge, and so on. Again, going ahead. Mantras. Mantras for, what type of mantras do we chant? We should be doing mantras for chitta shuddhi, anything that would take us inward, think and reflect. Then, what type of mantras would make you rajasic? Materially, for whatever is for materialistic gain. Then, what salis where? Where would be garage sales and so on. Then, tamasic would be thoughts of harming others, talking ill of others, etc. Then, lastly, is samskara. That's very interesting. That is something, most of which is not in our hands. It seems, I don't know whether you know the story of Prahalada. Prahalada was daughter of an Asuri lady, right? But when he was in his mother's womb, he was actually taken care of by Narada Maharshi. And Narada Maharshi, that his mother heard a lot of Vedantic knowledge from Narada Maharshi when she was pregnant with Prahalada. That is why, though he was son of an Asura, he was born as a God itself, not just a simple sattvic person. Isn't it? That is the effect of, that is called a prenatal care. So, that is the type of prenatal care we should be giving for a would-be born baby like Prahalada. And also, children follow exactly what parents do. Then, whether it is sattvic or rajasic or tamasic. Okay, if parents smoke, you cannot, a smoking parent cannot say, son, don't smoke. Likewise. Now, continuing. These are the ways Bhagavan Krishna taught how we can be careful to avoid rajasic and tamasic attributes in us and how to become sattvic. Now, before going to the next sloka, I want to tell a little bit of the background for understanding that sloka. Okay? It is not part of Hamsa Gita. If you remember, those of you who have studied Tattva Bodha and all that, our body itself is made out of 3 gunas. Okay? How? It is, the body is made out of the 5 Maha Panjabhutas. Okay? And out of all these Panjabhutas have sattva, Sattva-guna, Tamo-guna and Rajo-guna. All the three gunas are there in this Panjabhutas. Okay? And from the sattva of each element, the jnanendriyas were created. And then it is said, from the samashti sattva guna, the mind is born. From the rajoguna of the five elements, karmendriyas were created. From the samashti rajoguna of these five elements, our prana is created, will be created. And from the tamoguna of five elements, this sthula sharira, our body, is made. And that is the manufacturing process of each of us. Okay? So, likewise, like this, we have to understand the body is made out of three gunas. Okay? And when these gunas are in total equilibrium, and Rajoguna, Tamoguna and Sattoguna are all equal in proportion, the state is called pralaya, when there is no creation. Whenever there is a disproportion that comes, creation happens, and living beings are created. Likewise, as is explained, or thus, each of us is made of these three gunas. Okay? So, if there is no guna, what happens? That individuality is not there. That's what it means. Okay? Now, this sloka, next sloka, is about, as we were saying, Bhagavan had said, you have to become sattvic. That means become predominantly sattvic, and by sattva, burn sattva itself. It looks a little bit strange. It is like saying, burn pot with mud. Isn't it? How is it possible? That is what is explained now. The sloka goes, Bhagavan, Krishna says, Venu sangharshajo vannihi dadhva shamyati tadvanam evam gunavyatejaha dehak shamyati tatkriyaha. Means, Venu means bamboo. Venu means flute. Okay, flute name has got from bamboo because it is made from bamboo. Now, what happens in huge mountains, etc.? Huge mountains, we see fires that come created by itself. It's called forest fires, isn't it? And where there are, particularly where there are lots of bamboos, when bamboos get dry, in the wind, they move against each other, friction is created and fire is produced. And then the whole forest is set into fire. And the forest burns. And after some time, nothing is left. Do you see how it is represented there? Little bit of appreciation. So the wood, the forest burned and nothing is left. Likewise, Bhagavan says, just as in the forest fire, in the forest, everything is burned into ashes, nothing is left. A person who is purely sattvic when receives the knowledge, the right knowledge, he absorbs the knowledge gets established in himself. Such a person who is Jnana-nishtha in him, even the sattvic bondage, the sattvic guna, the bondage itself gets burnt. For example, in sattvic guna, we did go through different sattvic gunas, isn't it? A person who loves peace, who loves to be alone, unlike a rajasic person who likes to be in parties and in let us say a lot of activities, etc. A sattvic person likes to be peaceful. And if a person is bound, saying, I want to be peaceful, I don't want anybody to come to my room. I want to be so peaceful, I want to go and live only in Badrinath. It's not possible. In fact, now if you go to Badrinath, the moment you enter Badrinath area, the first sign you get is, dosha served here. Okay, so it is not possible. If you are bound, you are in problem. Not only you are in problem, others are also in problem. Oh, I am very sattvic, I will not eat that, Oh, I am very that, I cannot come there. Nitya and Naimitya karmas will go out of the window, isn't it? But in a sattvic person's case, when he, in his heart full of love and devotion to Paramatma, when he gets the knowledge, the sattvic bondage also gets burned, just like the bamboo trees also gets burned and nothing is left. Make sense? Having said this, I'll quickly finish the rest. I know I have only 10 more minutes. Uddhava was very happy. He finally understood how to be sattvic, and being sattvic, how he can get out of all gunas, become gunatita, etc. He was happy. Then he says, oh Bhagavan, I understand all these things. And all people who are in this Laukika world, earthly, we all are every day going through, we are seeing the difficulties. We are seeing like same enjoyments we want to have again and again. And those enjoyments are giving us trouble. And we go through the trouble again and again, we go back. Again and again the drunkard drinks the drink. Isn't it? And smoker smokes, that is certain extreme cases. But even so-called ordinary people, all of us, again and again slip out of sattvic life and get into trouble. Why Bhagavan? He is asking. Uddhava uvacha vidandi matya prayena vishayan padamapadam tadha vibhunjate krishna tatkadham Shvakarajavata. Uddhava is saying, people know, they know, Matyaha, the people, the normal people, human beings, they know. Predominantly, all Vishayas lead us to abad. Abad means danger. Lead us to danger, lead us to problems. It is pulling us down spiritually. Still, why are we again and again going back? Why are we attached again to those same worldly things? Why? He is saying, like who? Like Shwaha. Shwaha is dog. And Khara. Khara is a donkey. Ajaha is goat. Like dogs, whatever you do, you chase them, they will come back again. You chase them again. That is the case in India, not here. I am talking about street dogs and all that. Why are human beings like that? Why are people like that? He is asking. Remember, it is not because Uddhava does not know. He is asking for, how do I tell people? Or it is for all of us. Bhagavan said, I'll quickly go through it. Ahamityanyatha buddhihi pramattasya yatha hridi utsarpadirajo ghore tato vaikarikam manaha. Manas, though mind, what is mind made from? Minds are made from the sattvic aspect of Panchamahabhutas. Mind naturally is sattvic. But because of aham, me and this, that kind of thought, because of that buddhi, what is me and this, aham and iti means, there is thought of dvaita, nanato, bheda buddhi, mine and yours. That kind of bheda buddhi has crept into people's mind because of rajoguna. Utsarpadi has got into people's mind. Ghora rajoguna, the terrible rajasic quality, because of dormant tamoguna. Because of tamas gives way to rajoguna, and because of rajoguna, duality, sense of duality comes in, and because of sense of duality, what happens? Selfishness. Because of selfishness, delusion. Delusion gives rise to raga and dvesha. Raga and dvesha gives rise to attachment. Attachment leads you to do adharmic work. Adharmic leads you to papa and sins, etc. And papas force you to next life. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, and it goes on like this. That is how it is, he said. And, I'm sorry. Again he says, Rajo yuktasya manasaha sangalpaksa vikalpagaha tada kamo guna dhyanat dudussak sadhi durmatehe. This durmatihi, these people who are, he calls them wicked. Bhagavan Krishna feels they are wicked people. Such people, they, when in the objects of the world, they get attracted. It's the same meaning as Thyayado Vishayan Pumsaha, second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan says, you see an object and then you meditate on that, and then start developing attachment towards that. Attachment means then you are not, that thought of that object stays in your mind, and then slowly you start having desire to possess it. Similarly here he is saying, because of rajasic mentality, duality of savikalpaha means mine, me and mineness, yours and your things. That thought comes, and one selfishness seeps into people's mind, and they engage in ghora rajasic activities. He calls rajasic quality ghora, due to tada kamaha, due to their intense desires. And then karoti kama vasagaha karmanya vichitendriyaha dukkha darkani sampasyan ajo vega vimohitaha. Karoti kama rag kama vasagaha means pulled by intense desires, by a storm of intense desires. A person he does actions in the world how ajidendriyaha, not jitendriya, ajidendriyaha, means without any control over their senses he acts in the world. Being pushed as though by a storm, he acts in this world. How Dukhodarkani, creating more and more sorrow for him and for all others. He gets into total delusion. So these two slokas are talking about terrible evils of Rajasic mind. Being tamasic is destruction for the person himself. Being Rajasic is destruction for him and also people around him. And a tamasic person might remain in the same level, it seems. A Rajasic person, unless very careful, unless control the senses, can go down. At least if he maintains with 50%, he will remain in the same level. But if he tries to be sattvic, with sattvic mind, like a sattvic person, he can go beyond all gunas. And once you reach that level, like how 6th chapter says, Bhagavan goes ahead telling how you should meditate on the knowledge, meditate on your pure self until the sattvic bonds are burnt in that knowledge of the self. Okay. I think I covered about a lot of slokas. Okay. So I'll stop here. Any questions?
Living in a Rajasic world, how do you remain sattvic? I mean, there's of course outside forces and.
Could you repeat that?
When you're living in a Rajasic world, how do you remain sattvic when there are?
The world only is Rajasic. Why should we be there? Why should we be Rajasic? You know, they say, like lotus leaf is born in dirty water. Lotus plant is born in dirty water. The leaf doesn't get dirty. The flowers are very, very pure. Okay. The question is, that is where we were reading also. Every action, we have to check. The world is Rajasic. Am I being pushed by the Rajasic attributes of that environment? All maybe I have some guests in my house, okay, and I have promised to go for a talk in my ashram. My friends say, oh, what is this? Why do you want to waste such a nice evening and you are also working? You can as well watch TV. Relax. Tomorrow morning you have to go to work. As a person who wants to be involved only in sattvic activity, what would you do? Naturally you would choose. But I know what you are talking about is sometimes there are very intrinsic situations. You are intrinsically involved in the situation. How do you get out of it? That is where reflection helps. That is why I said when I was talking in the evening, when we come before going to sleep, when we reflect back of the day, think about where the different situations that we had gone through. Think about where we had fallen down from sattvic state to rajasic. See how you can correct the situation next time around. That is all we can do. And slowly, slowly improve. Anirvinnaha, that's why this word is, the last one, the second line. Anirvinnaha means be patient with you. Even during your sadhana, you will fall. Whenever you fall, be gentle, be patient with you, try again. It seems that is why in meditation halls and all that, they don't switch on the light, because the first tendency is to sleep. Others should not say, you should not be embarrassed. That's the reason. So it will happen. All of us go through that.
I have a question. So this is from yesterday's lecture. We were talking about the fact that bondage and liberation is with respect to the body.
What was the first two words?
Bondage and liberation is with respect to the body,
Mind
not
and intellect.
I mean with respect to the VMI, the Prakriti, not with respect to the Atman. But then you also mentioned in transactions accept your bondage. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, I did say. We have to accept that we have to see, accept does not mean it is okay. Not in that context. Thank you for asking that. It does not mean that way. It means accept your weakness. Or, weakness is the wrong word. Let us say, let's say, I go to a house where they are celebrating a child's birthday. Okay? How would it be if I say, you are neither born, there is no birth, there is no death. What is death? What is birth? We are born alone. This child also has to go. If my mind is like that, that is totally wrong. I am sending very, very wrong message to people around us, etc. And by very principle that we have to be like water, giving comfort, giving motivation to people around us. How should I be there? I should be celebrating along with the child. And the same such people, these are all instructions for people like us. Same people who think, I am very sattvic, I have gone beyond all that. When their birthday comes, it is different. They will expect all people to go and celebrate their birthday. And people, certain situations come, if it does not, if it suits them, they will say, I am beyond all that. You should not get affected by all these things. You should have equanimity of mind. He is cheating or she is cheating herself. Bhagavan himself says, accept your bondages. That means, in the transaction world, see, Bhagavan can do what? He is Lord of Lords. He can undo whatever he does. That's why he is Bhagavan. Okay? A great Rishi can undo what he does. But as long as we are in this transaction world, as long as we are transacting at the body level, we have to accept that bondage and then be sensitive to each other, understanding to each other. That's what it is meant. Is that clear?
Should we celebrate tomorrow?
Since Gurudev used to, Shardandi used to give this thing often, he will go and attend her birthday, happily enjoy, laugh and hug the baby and happily enjoy. In 5 minutes, his appointment may be to go to a house where somebody died, where everybody is crying. So he will go there, share their sorrow, go to their level, and be one among them. They are great people. They are beyond all this. But they will be much more sensitive than the worldly people, than all of us. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamidam